where I'll be telling you about the different events that the SU will be holding throughout November. We'll be talking to our President, Jack Rankin, a chance for you to get to know a bit more about him and all of the things that he has planned for the year. I'll be joined by Chloe from the Student Voice and Insight team to talk about CSUs and how you can get involved. And I'll also be joined by Chris, the Head of Advice here at the SU, to talk about the services and representation you can get as a student at Chester University. Throughout November, we'll be hosting a range of events that you can get involved with, starting with a consent workshop that will be held on Teams by the Cheshire Police. This will be on the 12th of November. You can get access to the link by following the link in our bio on our social medias. On the 18th of November at Exton Park, our Student Voice and Insight team will be holding a pop-up booth where you can go to discuss CSUs, talk about all the campaigns that we'll be running throughout the year and any other ways that you can get involved. These pop-ups will also be happening throughout the year on all of our campuses, such as Shrewsbury and Warrington. So if you want to know when the Student Voice and Insight team are coming to you, pop into your SU or drop us a message on social media. A great charity event for you to get involved with in November is that we are holding a 12-hour rowathon on Exton Park at the SU building. This is on the 19th of November, and we will encourage all groups from sports and societies and anyone else who'd like to get involved to come to the SU, take part in the rowathon and also support with donations. And the final event of the month is Reclaim the Night March. This is in launch of our Women's Network on the 26th of November, starting at 5 o'clock at the SU building. We'll be making banners, posters and prepping for the march, which will then take place at 6 o'clock around Chester City Centre. We encourage all students and staff to come along to this and show that you are allies in making our streets safer for all genders. Hi Jack.
Hi, you're right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a good day so far.
Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure thing. Hi everyone, I'm Jack. I'm the president of the Students' Union this year. My role, I'm kind of the lead representative for students with the senior management team at the university. I'm in charge of union development. My role's a bit different to kind of the other roles, so like Jordanne, like Lauren, who has very specific remits, so like activities, like education. I don't. Mine's a bit more broad. It means I can get involved in a bit of everything really. Yeah, I was a student here at Chester before obviously being elected to this role. So I was a law student, studied law here, and then got elected last year to be VP Education. Really enjoyed it. Obviously last year was a really different year. It was a bit weird. Everything was online and I didn't want to end my kind of time there, so I got elected to this role, and I've had a great time, really made some really impactful work so far.
Does being president feel different to being VP Education?
There are a lot of differences. I think on the record, the VP Education role is probably the hardest role out of all the roles. Kind of you're all, as a VP Education, you're in so many committees, you've got so much work to be doing. Not that you don't in any of the other roles. I can definitely tell you I've been pretty busy as president, but yeah, there's a lot more senior management meetings as president. Kind of that's the person doing a lot of talking, kind of representing the university at things, representing the union things, whereas the other roles, the VP Education role, the VP Activities roles, you're the ones who are really kind of doing the really important, impactful work for students.
Cool. So, as president, what are your top aims for the year? Have you got anything that you really want to achieve?
Yeah, we've already done so much so far. I think one of my big things this year, with everything being online last year, there was no social engagement, there was no kind of activities which kind of drew people onto campus. I really want to kind of support that, kind of get that buzz back, get that, that's just that personable nature which Chester has. We're a small campus-based university, and seeing everyone out and about, everyone knowing each other, stopping, talking, really having fun and kind of that vibrancy is what I want to see this year. I want to get that back. Another big thing, I'm kind of at the moment working through our democracy review. It's a big part. Our democratic structures in the past, we've seen that they aren't necessarily fit for purpose. They aren't kind of representing students the best way which we feel they can. So I've been working through the team. We've had an external consultant come in to see how we can better improve that for students.
So, What's the favourite part of your role? So what's the best part of being the president of Chester Students' Union?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, today was quite a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So we had a good meeting, didn't we? We had a lunch meeting with the domestic bursar from Residential Services and Hospitality, and it's my birthday in a couple of days, so they got me a cake.
All the cake.
All the cake. So down in our office we now have all the cake in the world, enough for the next 6 months by the looks of things. I think other than that, just kind of representing students, I think it's really great kind of when you put a student voice and kind of perspective forward and the university listen to it, and you can really see that change there.
We've obviously got lots of new students that have started. We've got students who are coming onto campus who might have never been on campus before after a year of online lectures, and students who did experience pre-COVID some in-person lectures and the atmosphere that we have on sites. So what's the biggest piece of advice for all current students?
Oh, I'm going to go for two. I'm going to go for a normal one, well, a classic one, and then a bit one, which kind of I like to say. Firstly, join as many sports and societies as possible. It's the best way to find like-minded people, to get out there, to get involved, to push you out of your comfort zone. I played sports throughout my 3 years at university, and I met some of my closest friends, my best friends, people I lived with, people I'm still in touch with now, and I'll be in touch with them for the rest of my life. So definitely do that. That's number one. It's not too late to join sports and societies. Message them on Instagram, message them on Facebook, or pop into the SU. We're more than happy to kind of help you out with that and get involved. And number two, believe in yourself. I think, there's a lot of imposter syndrome times when you're at university. You might not feel you're good enough. You are. The university's accepted you on your merits and what you can offer them. So do believe in yourself. You've been accepted onto the course, so you're definitely good enough to be here.
Oh, that's so lovely. Okay, so the next question is about more of what you're doing and making sure that the students can see what you're doing, so you can shout about it a bit more. That even makes sense.
Yeah.
So how can people engage with what you're doing?
Yeah, so probably one of the biggest things which I'm doing at the moment, which students can get involved in, is I'm working with the university to set up a Students as Partners network. So that's kind of to make sure the student voice is put through all the structures within the university, and it just becomes an everyday norm. I know it might sound weird, students, university, surely their voice should be put in at every opportunity, but now we're actually creating proper structures to make sure that happens. So check out on social media, it'll be launching in a couple of weeks, so get involved in anything like that. If you have any questions, please get in contact with me or anyone in my team.
Nice one. So everyone that I've had come on the podcast so far has answered this question. So do you have any food recommendation places for your current site, so mainly Chester?
All the food.
All the food.
All
Always.
the food.
That's the main reason we're here, to talk about food.
That's pretty much half the office conversation,
yeah.
Really. Well, yesterday I was lucky enough to be able to go grab lunch in town. So me and Chris, our advice lead, went to Melttown. Cheese toasties, always the best, always great. If you're over at Queen's Park, they've got one down in Hambridge as well, so it's just a stone's throw, really. Yeah, that was the original site.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on to my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like it's good for everyone to get to know a bit about you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be back on.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Bye. So I have Chloe with me here. Chloe is part of our Student Voice and Insight team at the SU. Would you like to introduce yourself, Chloe?
Yeah, so my name's Chloe. I am the Academic Representation Coordinator at Chester SU. So my role is to sort of look after all the student experience reps, manage the SIR system, sort of organise the elections, training, recognition opportunities and all that. So I've been in this job about 2 years now. And previous to that, I also was a student at the University of Chester, and I studied events management at Queen's Park campus.
So you touched a bit there that you deal with SIRs. So what is a SIR?
So our SIRs are split into two categories. So we have our course reps, which represent students in their cohort. So we have one course rep per course per year, and then we also have our department reps who represent all students within the department and sort of work with their course reps at a higher level. So we have one department rep per department per site.
Why should someone become a SIR? So what are the benefits and what experience can you gain?
So we do lots of things for SIRs. So we obviously do our induction training, and then we also do lots of other training throughout the year. So if you become a SIR, you'll be able to do some campaigns and democracy training, mental health first aid training. We also sort of run events throughout the year. One of them is our SIR Academy, where we get external organisations coming in to do workshops, and then we'll also do some sort of quizzes, end of year celebrations. So it's a really good opportunity to sort of get to know people in your cohort, but also people at the wider university, and you'll gain lots of skills such as sort of communication, teamwork, leadership, things like that, which will enhance your CV and prepare you for life after university.
Nice one. How can someone become a SIR?
So at the moment we are running the elections for SIRs, so nominations have closed so far, but voting is open at the moment. So if you head over to our website, you'll be able to nominate for your course or department rep. There are still some positions available, so if you log on and don't see anyone sort of running for those positions, please email us. So you can email me at studentreps@chester.ac.uk or speak to your lecturers, and we can sort of set up that process to allow you to become elected to be a course rep or department rep for your cohort.
Amazing. And also, can they just pop into the SU?
Yeah, so I'm in the SU most of the time, so pop in, come see us. I also sort of have Elena, who's one of our student staff and has previously been a SIR, so she'll be able to sort of answer any questions you have about that.
Perfect. Thank you for coming onto my podcast, giving a little feature. So the question that I'm asking every guest I have on my podcast is, do you have any food recommendations within your location? So for Chloe, it's Chester.
Chester is such a good place to go out for food, whether it's sort of like brunch or evening meals, but I think my recommendation would be Bluebell. So if you love tapas, sangria, paella, all the good Spanish vibes,
Love it.
Would recommend that. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. See you in the office.
See you in a minute.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Jordan. I'm Chris Lightfoot and I'm Advice Lead here at Chester Students' Union, which means that we have an advice team and I've been in charge of that.
I lead it.
I lead the advice team.
How long have you been here, Chris?
I've worked for the Students' Union for 4.5 years now, coming up to 5 years in March. Yeah, a while now, hey? And I've been advice lead since June of this year.
Who's in your advice team? Who do you lead?
So I lead in my advice team is somebody called Matt Nunnally, who is one of our advisors. He works part-time and he works remotely. So sadly, he's not around in the office very often, but he's always contactable via Teams or via email. And then I also have Jennifer Domensic, and she's based over in Warrington. She also works from home sometimes as well. And she's part-time and all. So there's 2 other advisors and they're amazing.
So what is advice? If you had to sum up advice in 3 words, what is advice?
Independent, confidential and supportive.
Nice.
I think. I know, yeah, wasn't it? There's probably a lot more words that describe what advice is. But overall, we're here to help and support students on their academic journey throughout their time at university, and that can take form in many different ways. So if a student has failed an exam or failed an assignment, and there are reasons behind that were outside of their control, such as feeling ill, or a family grievance maybe, then there is a potential to appeal poor results. So we can help with that process. Also, if and new students might find that academic writing is quite tough, and they might fall foul of the academic integrity policy. And again, if they're accused of breaching that policy, we can help them through that process. And then similarly, sometimes bad stuff goes down. people get into trouble, and disciplinary issues might come into effect, or what's known as the professional suitability procedure, where somebody might be on a professional course and they do something wrong on that professional course. It might not be life or death, it might not be a serious thing, but it's just where the university would review their suitability to be on that professional course. We can offer help and guidance in that. It's those two, the disciplinary and the PSP ones, I think, are the ones where we have the most effect to give the student every opportunity to continue on their academic journey.
So it's important that students know who you are.
Very important that
And where
students
you
know
are.
who we are and where we are and how they can get hold of us. And funny that they can get hold of us in one main way, really, and that is to two ways. They can either email us at csuadvice@chester.ac.uk, or the best way is to go through our website, which is chestersu.com, and then go through the advice, and then there's a contact and advisor form there. If you fill out that form, that gets bounced to our inbox, and then one of the three of us, mainly Matt or Jenny, will be responding to those emails.
Are there any other services that Advice provide?
Yeah, so on a non-academic point of view, we do help with some sort of housing advice or guidance. On that, we can help with complaints as well. But mainly, quite importantly, we're also a hate crime reporting centre. So if you experience or you witness, it doesn't even have to be against yourself, you can witness in the street. If you witness a hate crime, the best thing to do is to get in contact us, and then we can go through how to report that hate crime, and we can support you through that process as well.
Okay, so everyone who has been on my podcast has had to answer the same question.
Oh, great.
You ready?
Yeah, go on.
At your site, which is Chester, that your main location is at, where's the one place that you recommend people that are listening to go and eat? It's like food recommendations.
I get that. It depends on what budget you're after at the moment.
Any budget.
Any budget.
So students listening.
Students listening. So yeah, there's a nice 5-star place. No, I'm joking. I actually have 2 recommendations depending on what you're in the mood for. So personally, out in the Canal Quarter, there's a place called Artichoke, which I personally adore and love. And Mondays, 2-for-1 pizzas, absolutely outstanding. However, a new firm favourite of mine for lunch is Meltdown in Chester, which is cheesy toasties and loaded fries. And on Wednesdays, it's 2-for-1 toasties on there as well. And that's outstandingly brilliant.
So today we've had 2 Meltdown recommendations.
Have we?
Yeah.
Did our dear President Jack Rankin also recommend
Hashtag non-spawn, but Meltdown. Meltdown if you want to sponsor me.
It's not Meltdown, it's Meltdown.
Where is it?
So Meltdown, there's 2 locations. Meltdown.
So there's 2, the original.
There's the original location in Hanbridge, which is very near the Queen's Park campus. There's also Meltdown, which is a brand new location opened up this summer, and that's in the centre of town, peeps.
Okay, so Meltdown.
Meltdown.
If you want to sponsor me, please do. Yeah, that's all my questions. Thank you for coming on to my podcast.
No problem at all. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of my podcast, Jordanne FM. I hope you enjoyed getting to know our team a bit better and all the services that we provide. I look forward to hopefully seeing you at some of our events and can't wait for the next episode where I can tell you about what we're doing throughout December in the build up to Christmas.